But here we're going to go match 25 onto Erangel. Very beginning of week number 3. What are you expecting to see here?
I mean, first game of the day, first game of the weekend.
Yeah.
Expect to see much of the same. I don't think we're going to see any major switch-ups. We've got a fairly default plane, a vanilla plane, if you like. You see Rumblers come in south. One of the things we've seen a couple of times is Rumblers obviously come north to Kameshki on these bad planes, but going to settle for Milta Power here. Doesn't look like we've got any real switch-ups, to be honest with you.
I think Zenith are actually going north, though. Phase 3, I've at least recognized, I think, from my perspective, to see more adaptable drops, just because the game is only getting faster and faster with those early game rotations. But you're right, like, Rumblers still going to Milta Power, Ghost still going to Milta. Those are the two that I would maybe expect to see to swap up. But Zenith, they usually go, they like to go Sosnovka Island a fair bit, and they're actually going, I think they're trying to swing northwest.
That's a wide split. Yeah, they've got 2 up at Noli, and actually engaging onto one of the wildcard members, this long shooting, I think. One of the ones we saw last week, a switch up with Valiate dropping over to Ruins. I mean, it looks like we've got Protege contesting that.
Yeah.
But Mystery all the way north side of the river, so north side of Rozhok River. Looks like Protege's that's going to regroup over at Watertown, but that's something for SSG to watch, to be honest. If Valiate's dropping over to Ruins instead of its traditional, eastern compound, which I guess has been given up to Sonics by the looks of things. But yeah, Protege just going to come regroup over at Watertown with later. So no problems this time around.
No, it should be fine. Ghosts are now arriving in Milta. It should be an easier rotation for them as well because, I mean, they're in the first circle. I don't think we've seen it on the main screen just yet, but it's not an awful circle number 1.
Just one thing on Ghost, and that's, we looked at the stats before. I think, credit where credit's due. They had a fantastic end to phase 2. I think probably exceeding expectations of most people, but it's really interesting to see now, obviously, pretty much McCoy being the top stat on that team.
Yeah,
it's a really interesting dynamic, which obviously the hype was built around Vegas coming in. He's had a couple of really good moments, but as a team, I don't think they've delivered.
No, and especially not after last week. But that's a fair point to make because McCoy was never a bad player by any means. But when you have a team that has Drassel, that has Vegas, that has Shrimzy, which was a great pickup from the contenders, it's true that you don't expect him to be the top fragger. You expect him to get a couple of points for himself, of course. But at the same time, though, he is shot calling. So on one hand, is that maybe he's calling selfishly?
Maybe so. I think it's worth noting though that obviously the hype around Vegas has maybe not been down to him performing poorly, but actually as a team they've not been putting themselves in positions for Vegas to kind of flex into the hype, if you like.
Yeah, I mean, because this guy is still a very, very good player. But let's look at the map as a whole for a quick second here. It's a pretty standard map. There's a little bit of military base in here. The chances of it going down are very slim. It's true. That's true. That is true. I was actually casting the match that it did happen, so maybe I am the common denominator onto this one. But let's just cross our fingers. But outside of that potential, albeit improbable, anomaly, a lot of teams are already inside. What are the power positions that you're looking for in this circle? Weirdly
enough, and I was just about to bring it up, Sonic's actually going straight up to Potato, so just the top of that hill that comes out east of Pachinki. And interestingly enough, Genesis, and obviously Genesis is the team we saw clash with Sonics a couple of times in the early game.
All the time.
Kind of looking for a similar spot. I don't know if they're going to look for the compound down that Pride is occupying out here, but Pride's going to send some shots over, so Nerf looks like he's going to retreat away from that. It's going to be interesting now if we see Sonics and Genesis clash again at the top of Potato, because that would be an emerging storyline.
Yeah, it's true, because now Nerf made the call out, hey, Envy are already here, or whatever team. I'm assuming they know it's Envy just because they know the drop spots, but either way, there are shots, there are bullets coming from this compound. You'd think that the next place that they go is up north, but Sonic's already there. Riot Squad, you can see, are already pulling in as well. There's a lot of contention for just this dead center position.
I'm not sure where Riot Squad's actually planning on going, because they haven't scouted anything here, so VZ just kind of sending it through this dip in the base here. I'm not sure if they're going to actually settle for... They might try and go for Lodge here, but looks like obviously Sonics and Genesis both aware of Riot Squad's pathing, but that's a ballsy rotate from VZ.
Yeah, and they're actually not even all there. Mystery is way off in the distance, but VZ is stopping here, trying to scout some things out himself. There is that compound that is free, but it's a bit on the low ground, so I wonder if they're going to go for that super early. It is center, though, and center, some teams prioritize it differently, but center versus high ground, I don't know.
I mean, we're still at the 5-minute mark, so
yeah.
These are still early rotations. We've obviously got other teams elsewhere on the map coming in from further north, but Envy looking like they're gonna kind of settle for this 2-1-1 split. Two players over east at Snake, and looks like Interrogate and Pride over here at the Lodge compound. So yeah, it does look like Riot Squad actually settle for the flat top down there. So again, not a bad position. If Mystery can get there, that's a fairly decent compound to hold.
Sonic's here. This Tony V and Wooly looks like they're getting positioned to spray it down. They already got a couple of shots onto a previous rotating Riot Squad. A little bit of a spray coming through. No connections just yet, and it looks like Mystery is going to be able to get out of this one. But yeah, that is a risky rotation coming in so late through the, not just to center. They're technically going through center.
I mean, going through one of, the high traffic areas as well at this point. And you haven't got a lot of options because obviously west of that is Pachinki, and you don't want to be driving anywhere near that. But again, teams should know that Genesis clear out fairly early. So yeah, the path in there didn't end up, resulting in a knock. So nothing lost just yet.
We got Ghost over here. A little bit of an easier push into the circle from these guys. They were from a less contested side from the southeast. Really, it's just the Rumblers that they would have to worry about while they step inside. Interesting,
though, that they've not opted to come along the south coast. Obviously, knowing Envy's tendencies, they're going to come north and obviously take the Snake compound and whatnot. It's interesting they've settled for the Milta Road. You wouldn't typically see that of Ghost. Ghost would try and go for Shark Fin, then kind of scout the Normandy compound, which is one way down on the South Beach. So interesting decision making from Ghost. That's a passive Ghost rotation considering, the plane and the first circle.
Well, you'd think that after their just unfortunate, not up to their standards week 2, they may be trying to switch things up, trying to get ahead of the curve. We saw them last week consistently like on the edge of the circle and put into fights that they maybe didn't have a big advantage on. So this could be them trying to get more of a positioning secure in the early game before it gets too late for them.
Yeah, I mean, in my eyes, step in the wrong direction. They should be going earlier. Again, it's a team that I'd say excels in, team fighting and stuff like that. So the fact that they've settled for that is interesting for me to see, at least.
That's true, yeah. When we see them in endgame positions and they have 4 up, when they're wrapping up against the blue, when it's like circle 5, 6 are on, they are a deadly force. But
well, that's to say they are a deadly force, but they haven't been in phase 3, to be honest. So maybe they're playing to their level right now. So. We'll see how that pans out for them.
It's almost like phase 2 Lazarus now that you bring that up, because Lazarus were strong if they got to the end game. It was getting to the end game that was the problem. But speaking of Lazarus, Uncivil, he sees Vanquish, a team at the very bottom of the leaderboard. These guys want to get as many points as possible, but Uncivil has his sights set onto them, onto Warehouse. A couple of shots come through. More of warning shots, as none of them really fully connect, but perhaps a stray headshot could get Lazarus the first point of the round. Actually, Vanquish, they're biting back, so Uncivil's got to get out of there, got to move his vehicle, got to save those tires, because we only have 45 seconds left for the first circle, and everyone wants those rotational options as we move deeper into the game.
I like this move from Lazarus, though, to kind of backfill United's spot. Obviously, anticipating a United are going to go west on this. See, Adam taking some shots onto a rotating endemic. Could actually be. I was going to say, yeah, he's in a wide open space there. He could get caught off there. So Rello going to fall, first player of the weekend to fall. Yeah, a heads-up play from Wildcard there to catch that in rotation.
Yeah, another strange rotation by Endemic, trying to go dead center while they come in. Like, I think they're the last team to arrive into the circle, and they just make a Hail Mary push. Over here, reduce the ALO. He got knocked by Vanquish.
Yeah, I was just actually saying, I like the move from Lazarus to kind of backfill, but what I was going to say was having the 2-2 split over onto Ghost Hill. Ooh, okay. Scrap what I was saying.
Yeah.
Look at that.
This one could be a little rough. That circle is going to be a hard shift over towards the west. And a lot of fields are now suddenly into play. Those Gatka fields, those Pachinki fields, you had your eye on them, but they're kind of closer to the edge. But this shift is going to get a lot of teams questioning what they're going to do. Tempo Storm are in a really good spot. Space Station Gaming are going for Pachinki real right quick because they have an option for. But everyone else coming in from the east side, are there that many positions to fill right now in the circle?
I think this is going to be a crunch point down on the south side. We've got P1E, Loki, Envy, Genesis, Riot Squad, but they're going to have Ghosts and Rumblers coming in behind them. So I think the crucial spot here is going to be basically the position in between Tempo and Genesis, because there's going to be so many teams trying to transition in on this side.
I mean, yeah, we've seen Genesis hold a center position before in previous circles, center splits. They've been punished before last week.
They love this spot as well. They love this spot.
Exactly. It's a very nice high ground position. They have a crossfire with their teammates to the north, and as you mentioned, should be getting a lot of kills onto teams rotating through, but it's actually going to be Space Station Gaming. Valley 8 finding a lone Crispier and taking that bike for himself.
Yeah, and I think that was just an endemic attempt to send into particular. Already losing one, so they're looking to kind of center now and just kind of turtle towards the end of the game. So the fact they've lost another one isn't a massive deal, but Something and Wolf now just need to play things slow and just wait for the placement points to kick in.
Lazarus also moving in. They have everyone available, but they are right behind Vanquish. They're already trading a couple shots between the two of them. Vanquish could try and stop and pull up onto these guys, but with Vanquish needing the points, and with the circle this rough, you can imagine that dude's trying to get into the circle first things
Looks like
first.
Yeah, Tetra and Reno just jumped out there. Tetra actually going to take some shots, yeah. But the problem now is obviously that Finna and Fozu are further ahead, so if either of these players get knocked or, you know, and it looks like Lazarus are actually going to maybe stop here. Kurt's out of his vehicle with SLR equipped. I think he's just taking a look. He's going to hear him driving off now. I was going to say, if one of these players gets picked off, it's going to be really difficult for Vanquish to recover from that. And that's a position we've seen them in a number of times already this phase.
Yeah, they're already kind of relegating themselves to the north, just around the ruins area, and it's not the best position, especially on the edge. But over here, it's a lot of teams. I'm shocked how many teams we see going for Pochinki so early on. And
I mean, it's a safe space.
Yes.
Right now, and it's going to be really, really difficult if this goes anywhere but kind of, you know, north central.
Yeah.
I think. Well, actually, sorry. If this does go north central, we're going to see a lot more teams sent in. So seeing 3 in this early already, even with SSG split over the barn here, as we can see, things are going to get chaotic very quickly.
And I actually do like the split that SSG are pulling. This does give them the option to leave.
Yes, but if it centers over Pochinki, it's going to be very difficult if teams come in for these two members of SSG to get back to their teammates in Pochinki. So this is something I want to see them rectify next circle if we see that shift.
Yeah. Oh, if it shifts there, I'm along with you.
I want to see them double down and come to Pochinki.
Exactly. Just immediately send it. They need to be in those vehicles. Don't get baited by the rotational shots.
But good though, Valiant's got someone with him.
Yes. Yes. I know that was something that that a lot of people were heavily critical of. But surprisingly, we haven't seen that much rotational damage. We do see the Rumblers rotating in through Sosnofka. Ghost are watching their back flank, just making sure. May get baited a little bit by that crate. There's already a crate also on the ground. You can see on the minimap just above player 1. But the next circle, it's a median shift back towards the east, which is a little bit neutral. There are only a couple of teams on the west side. And it takes a lot of fields out, which is good. Still a little bit of water, though.
Yeah, that dead space down to the southwest, we don't want that in endgame. But right now, it's going to be difficult for anyone on the north, which is Lazarus. They were coming in late. Vanquish coming in late. We still have Zenith up on Potato. But Ghost down here now have a really good spot because they have a lot. Basically, this position on the cliff, they can control a lot of the terrain to the north. And whilst they don't necessarily want to crash into barns where P1E is, it gives them an opportunity to kind of buy time for the next circle, maybe even 2. Obviously, we've got to keep in mind there is going to be a water shift.
David here, peeking down south. These two teams, of course, know about each other. They've been trading shots back and forth. And so Ghost, you know, they can't be too, I guess, confident about it. They do need to worry about the people in the actual hard cover. But I agree. I actually like Ghost's split position around here. Lazarus already on foot quite early in the game. They assume that someone's on the high ground and they want to go up without being spotted or heard, assuming they haven't been already.
Oh, that first... Oh, actually, no, it's not close. I was going to say... That first name from Kurt looked pretty good there, but yeah, this is what I was saying. It's going to be very difficult for Lazarus to get in at all on this, but actually getting in on foot is going to be even more difficult because we already know south of this we have Riot Squad and Sonic set up. So this fight with Zenith now needs to be drawn up before circle starts closing because I don't want to see them get pinched on the hard edge right up on Potato here. But
I like them going for the aggressive play to try and open it up before it is too late.
Yeah.
They're trying to fish with the nades, though, and it's not finding anything just yet. Zenith, you can see, they're already backing off. They don't want to take this fight. They know that they have priority, but is that perhaps a little too defensive? Because the Sonics is right on the low ground. If they retreat too much, they could just sandwich themselves.
Zenith need to clear their edge here. I don't like the fact they're pulling back from this. It might not seem like a, you know, advantageous engagement, but Zenith need to clear their edge. They can't leave Lazarus behind.
You got to kill them eventually, right?
Exactly.
So might as well now.
The earlier the better. The earlier the better, especially in that situation.
I mean, it only takes maybe one shift or one team's movement where the team that is third-partying suddenly becomes the one third-partied. So it's all about managing your angles, and I think they're actually looking back towards Lazarus. But over here in Pochinki United, they are staying strong. A little bit of a split themselves over in Pizza, or Triangle, or do people still call it Pizza?
Pizza South George.
Southeast?
Pizza South George.
They're all triangles.
They're all triangles.
They're all triangles. We share
Baja actually stealing the kill away.
Lazarus, though, and Civil, he's going to get caught out by a proning Zenith. What else do you expect to see? And wow, Kendo's actually in row. They're both spraying everyone down. Pretty Critty trying to trade back and forth, and actually that's 3 down for Zenith. Uncivil was finished off But while Junior left, what can he do? What can he make from this? Alo here, here's the footsteps. Kendo's getting the call-out position, but Alo goes for it, and he's gonna get the spray down, even though Zenith had the first initial knock. Lazarus do turn it into their favor just in time with the blue pushing in.
Yeah, and actually we got Woolies. You can see on the map here, Woolies actually coming in hard, look pretty late from the blue here. So I'm not sure if he lost a vehicle or what, but he's actually in a position now where he's stuck behind Lazarus.
That could be good because with this next shift, Sonics have the edge and they could use Wooly as a nice flank. But over here, Vanquish, they had a long rotation. We saw them parallel with Lazarus a couple of minutes ago, but they're still out in the blue because they have to cross over an open field, and that split by SSG could be advantageous towards them. Let's talk about this though, because they're not grouping up like we hoped.
No, and I think right now it's not necessarily a problem because neither of them are in a particularly fantastic spot. Obviously, United are preventing the other two members of SSG coming any further into the city. Valiant and Baja stuck over at Barnes. Maybe they've lost a vehicle, I'm not sure, but they're going to be able to pressure a couple of teams as they come past Pachinki Field. But short of that, they're going to have to fight through United, and that's where the problem comes because they're split. Looks like actually Vanquish are going to crash into SSG at the Barnes.
Comes the spread on Kozu, is able to make it. 11 HP left, hiding in a corner, isn't discovered just yet, but Sharp Shot actually finds this tiny pixel angle. Reno's trying to turn it back in their favor, and Nade goes up into the top floor, trying to get inside the shack himself before he gets taken out by Tempo Storm. Very low HP, has to heal. Nice nade out from Baja. I don't know if it's going to find it, though. Where are the rest of the members of Vanquish, though? I think everyone has perished. Just Reno left. And Valiant, he knows exactly where he is. That's going to be a nice nade inside the shack. Flushes him out, pre-fire through. Vanquish go out in 15th place.
Great defense there from Valiant and Baja. Again, it's always horrible being crashed when you're in a 2-2 spot. Actually, look at the takedown Wooly. Wooly was the person that we said actually was in a position to punish Lazarus, and he gets taken down and flushed. Lazarus actually down to 1 now.
Yeah, he's the only one left. We missed that while other fights were happening on, and so Luke, he's in a rough spot, cornered by both Sonics and Riot Squad. They already have 5 kills, so it could be a much worse position for Lazarus, but what is he going to make out of this? Riot Squad, though, they're going to have to push into the circle eventually, trying to get rid of Lazarus before pushing into Sonics, but they need to move quick.
Yeah, Luke, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to even get close there. Obviously, you can see Sonics down in the distance. He needs to get an opening knock here and push it fast, but I don't see him getting into this next circle.
It's 2 full squads, yeah. The chances of this happening are very thin. Might just want to heal into the blue. And is it too early to call for a point denial?
I mean, Sonics is a team you don't want picking up points, so it could be interesting to see that. We do actually see Rumblers go out elsewhere in the kill feed. Unfortunately, missed that one, but yeah, I mean, at this point, we don't want to see Luke feed a kill to Sonics. Obviously, it's another team in contention.
We're seeing a lot of teams go out surprisingly early with full 4-on-4 team fights. But Riot Squad, they can't wait for Luke to peak, and so they're pushing through.
No, it's a huge investment for them to sit here and wait for this 1 point. Actually, it looks like he might even catch Mystery off guard here.
Ooh, this is good. He's got to get inside. Only 9 HP. Got a crouch run, doesn't have time to heal because the blue is still pushing in. But if he finds a tree to hide behind, if he can even get, for example, Leda, knock him, flush him, get a 6 point, that could be something, but I don't know if this
you can't heal that.
Not enough time. Still gonna be crossing through.
This is dangerous for Riot Squad because obviously they're in a position where they're going to have to engage on Sonics. So if they lose, there we go. I was going to say, if they lose one person to Luke here, it could open up something for Sonics to push onto because it would have been a straight 3v3.
I mean, they know that he was there. Surely they got to at least have one person's head on a swivel, but the Sonics, Keenan opening a couple of shots onto VZ. Some good damage, but no knock just yet. What are Riot Squad going to do to turn this back into their favor? They're both inside the circle. But a nice little split by the Sonics.
I like the way Sonics is split across this terrain because it makes it so that, you know, Riot Squad can't just come and push and basically peek over this ridge.
20B's nade doesn't find anything just yet, but Keenan is just here waiting for Riot Squad to peek over this ridge, and they gotta hurry because the circle, it's not exactly in their favor, probably the exact opposite.
They need to clean this up quickly.
Leda does go down, first nade by Tiggleton, could open this up in their favor, but not, another one, Protege down. Riot Squad, they gotta peek into this. They need this fight real quick, but
nice knock.
The spray is consistently going into Riot Squad's, Sonic's favor. Mystery, he's gonna go down.
That's yeah, Pat caps with the K9 from down in Lodge. Wow, great shot from Pat.
A good pickup for them. But do they push into Sonics off of this? Because they got to get into the circle themselves. Ghost, smoke wall, pushing up into Envy. Pride is here waiting, could spot them out.
They've left Pride back to kind of play spoiler on here if Ghost decides to move in. The problem being P1E need to rotate from the south. As you can see in the minimap right now, Shrimsy does spot out Pride. Pride's going to take an opening shot here, but I'm not sure what Ghost can do because P1E are coming up now.
Yeah, this is going to be a rough situation for them. They need these opening knocks. They need these frags to happen. You can see there's not a lot of cover for Ghost. How are they going to make their way into the circle? They got to push up basically a flat hill that Envy have. I mean, I don't really want to call it control because the blue is pushing in, but they have at least have a wide spread on it. Player one, though, it's a similar situation for them. These guys at least have vehicles, but where can you send it in this circle?
I mean, there just aren't many options right now. We want to see Ghost push up, try and take this fight with Envy. It actually looks like, wow, Pat's actually ended up behind him in the blue, so this could be a huge problem for Ghost right now. Because they can see Envy engaging on Sonics.
Yeah, so Envy, they may be biting off a little more than they can chew. Let's see if Patcaps can't, behind enemy lines, really play spoiler. But here comes the stream of Ghosts over the hill, like the Lion King. But it's going to be Frags going towards Vegas with the M249. Trimsy gets another one onto Moody. Let's just interrogate left, it looks, in the blue as well. And Ghosts, they're not giving up. They're going big on the Sonics as well. And then here comes another team up to bat. Player one. Finally have some trees to hide behind. Vegas trying to use the DMR, but they still have to push in.
There's no space for them. It was too late, unfortunately. Drassel is going to fall as well. There's Envy going out. I think that's Moody interrogate. Yeah, Envy going out in 10th. Vegas, I don't think he can stick that med.
It's going to be, yep, not going to happen. Just barely too late. At least Ghosts are picking up kills on this run, but still the blue coming in is dealing heavy damage, and now they got to run down a hill. Over here in Pachinki, though, the teams that committed into the early game, they have the hard covered to their advantage. Balefrost, some shots onto the remaining player from Ghost. No kills just yet. Yeah, I mean, you got to go for the style points. Ghosts are out in 9th place. 8 teams remaining. And you can see on the minimap, it's an interesting circle to say the least. United with a nice split, and that's going to work out in their favor. And, well, SSG as well, they've actually utilized that split that we pointed out earlier in the game to help pivot them up through the field onto the hill. It was, I guess, an ambitious run. They had to use a lot of smokes to do it, but Balefrost spots them out, perhaps a little too ambitious.
One of the things that actually happened whilst we were watching those other fights there, Valier actually went all the way up to C9 Hill as he saw Tempo Storm rotate off. So that kind of backfill from Valier actually meant that Valier had a great angle down onto Tempo Storm. Again, making a solo play, but it pays off in this scenario. He actually managed to get, I think, 2 kills onto Tempo Storm and clear all of this southwest corner. So now SSG are in a position where they have this ridge that runs along the edge of Pachinki Field. They're going to be able to hold it really, really easily. United,
they had to leave Pachinki as well, and so with unable to flush SSG out, they just got to make a bold play all in one vehicle to one single position. At least it's in the circle. But here's Low-Key here. We haven't seen a lot of them so far this game. Same with Wildcard. Only 2 kills for the Low-Key guys. But they have the high ground, and Wildcard's positioned in the center of a valley. This is going to be a rough one. A couple of nades come out, try and upset Low-Key, but return nades. Going to see if they can't flush them out.
I mean, actually, Wildcard's position is great up until, you know, up until teams have to start pushing this valley, because then it ends up and there's just 2 teams that can just pick you off. And we can see now, Pat's getting an opening knock onto Pistola, Adam returning back onto Chubba. Right now we need to see Wildcard try and close this team fight out.
Adam's got to take this fight, but low HP, the first spray, but HP does work against him. Fignato's going to find him before he immediately gets dropped by Kickstart. Holding the crossfire on the tree. No spray goes down. That's going to be Low-Key getting taken out. Wildcard, 7 points already.
Actually, Valier stealing one away onto Wildcard there, so looks like SSG used that opportunity to push down. Jason getting a kill onto Penta as well, so kickstart the last one up for Wildcard now, so that's what I'm talking about. That valley there, as soon as the fight breaks out, 2 teams already are pressing you. Wildcard clean up the farm to Low-Key, but SSG, they can just push it for free.
Yeah, it was good timing for Wildcard to be able to take out Low-Key before the SSG push happened, and good number of points, but I can't imagine they're going to stay alive too much longer. United, they've made a little bit of a fortress of their own, but again, a little bit on the low ground. And, I mean, cover is at a premium right now.
Valier up to 6 kills now. This is an insane performance from Valier. Again, we called him out earlier for that, you know, the solo play up to the hill. But the fact that he was able to take control of that and wipe out both teams in the valley is massive for SSG coming into the late game.
And now they still have a split.
They still 4 up as well.
Yeah, 4 up, a split, nice crossfire, good high ground to peek around. A lot of teams still in this circle. The only team that I can imagine it could upset them may be player one, but they're hiding out on the edge, and they're taking a lot of shots from Genesis, from United. H-Win gets a little bit of damage. Nothing that's going to stick too heavy, though. Let's see what the next circle goes. Endemic slowly sneaking in from the north. And it's going to be towards the west. SSG.
You'd love to see it. You'd love to see it.
United as well, though. They could.
United are in a great spot, but it's very, very difficult to fight off this, you know, the sewage pipe on the edge of Pachinki here. Unfortunately, the angles that, you know, Genesis occupying the Wizard Tower isn't somewhere you'd usually see a team commit to. But as you can see, they haven't been able to pressure any team as of yet because of the position of P1E. Actually, Valier up to 7 kills now. Getting a kill onto David. This is insane stuff from Valiant.
A little out in the open. Nerf trying to take some shots onto him, but he's not going to be found just yet. Snoke's come out for Genesis. But where are they going to run to? They have K-Mine, you can see, towards the center of the circle, hiding behind a tree, but making their way across a field. That's going to be a risky play.
I'm not sure if Genesis are even going to be able to get close to regrouping.
Yeah, it's...
K-Mine can't come any further west because of the position that SSG occupies on both sides of the valley.
It's, again, just cover at a
They're
huge
going to try
premium.
and send it to him.
I mean, oh, they have a vehicle. Wolfto's down, though. It's only one remaining member for Endemics. Just going to be something. Shots come out from K-Mine, trying to open something up for Genesis. Puts a little bit of pressure onto them. Taylor J does go down to J-Sync, but K-Mine immediately traded by Player One and flushed as well. And here comes the push by Player One. Balefrost getting the revive onto Taylor J, keeping 4 up. They only have 1 kill, and their position isn't the best. But come a late game scenario, their manpower could prove beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, P1E have to make this push down, but the problem being, actually, Valiant is right behind him. Headtor gets an opening knock onto H-Win, which should open something up for P1E. Valiant actually coming behind now, trying to get some shots off. Does take some damage back from Sharu, so he needs to retreat now. If he goes down, this could be huge for United.
Genesis go down with a great nade by Player One, but where do Player One go now?
Valiant getting picked off, so this is a big problem now for SSG. They need to regroup. E-United getting that flush onto Valiant really, really weakens SSG's chances if E-United can regroup.
But he still did a lot of work from that position, and so it's unfortunate that he went down now, but SSG wouldn't be in the position that they are now if it weren't for him, one can imagine. And look at this angle they have onto Player One. Jason gets a knock. He gets knocked in return.
I mean, this is a shame now. If we see SSG get picked off one by one after this mid-game action, it's going to be a real shame to see. P1E not in a great spot. I don't even think they're inside the circle right now.
No,
it looks
it's not
like
great.
They're taking shots at Headsaw as well.
Good nades by SSG, get a little bit of damage, but no full knock yet. J-Sync, he does bleed out. Right after Player One gets knocked out in 4th position. 3 teams left. Another nade comes out from Headsaw, but look at the kills that SSG have. In fact, let's listen in.
I got knocked to nade. Let's play for the rest. On me. Just smokes left. Knocked one.
Nice, I'm resting.
Red smoke.
Play slow. You're alone, Rue.
Okay.
5 seconds. Oh, fuck.
Road smoke. One guy.
You're being a smoke in the road.
Another nade.
He's prone on it. One guy. In the smoke.
What?
Good try.
How did Bahawaka make that work and made into a 1v1, him versus something? Does he have 80 clue or something, as though that's the question? Something's been listening in. He knows exactly where every single individual is. But Baha, he's just prone down, waiting for some information, but something knows that the remaining solo player needs to peek over the hill, but I like this rotation. Back away from Pachinki, away from where the only player remaining
He's got so much time and so much space as well. And something actually doesn't have an awful lot of information, just as much as Baha has, to be honest.
It's going to be a slow endgame right now. Baha slowly sneaking through. Well, something, he's just waiting on the edge. He's in a bush. Like, this could give him an advantage.
Name a more iconic duo.
Right? 1v1. That's just, I'm still just dumbstruck by Bahawaka able to save SSG.
Please win this game now.
United.
Please,
yeah,
for the love of God,
he has
win
to
this
win
game.
at this point. Oh, was he spotted? Something looking in his direction. Just running around. Doesn't want to give too much information away.
I think something just saw him, yeah. You can see him ADS. He's holding the angle on the right spot of the ledge, so I think he just caught sight of him. I'm not sure who has the better way into the circle here, to be honest. Baha has a lot more space up on this ridge, but something needs to get behind him.
Oh, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's rotating around, trying to follow Bahawaka's footsteps, hoping the Bahawaka assumes that surely no one's going to be behind where I just cleared, but something's going to be there lying in wait.
Oh, Baha's looking over there.
He's got the high ground, or heading up towards it. It's not too much to work with. Please end this with an M24 shot. That's all I'm asking. Something. Only 20 shots left in his gun, but that should be more than enough in a 1v1. It's a slow end. He's not,
Baha's not taking this angle. He's really not expecting something to be here. I think he's expecting him to be prone in the field, or maybe even the shack. Something's got a free peek here.
What do you expect? What can you expect from this position?
Use the SLR.
They're both prone. They don't see it. Oh, something's
Please
out
don't
of the
die
blue.
to blue.
Oh, this is bad. He's pushed in, but his health is so low. But Bahawaka is not looking in his direction.
Push him! Please!
He's proning again. Laying it slow. What's happening? What's going on? The blue is pushing in still. I think something...
something's just taken 2 ticks of blue there for free. If this comes to a gunfight now, Baha...
He spots him,
Oh my
and he
God.
gets the final shots. It's going to be endemic. 1 kill, 1 win. That's all they need. But what a run by Space Station Gaming.
That just upset me massively. And not because I wanted to see SSG win that game, but the fact that it came down to that in the end game. Great work from Something, the positioning, got behind Baha, but wow.
Here's the thing.
What an anticlimax, though. Come on.
A little bit,